Imagine eating a fresh, crisp salad to boost your health, only to end up with weeks of grueling explosive illness. Right now, a historic invisible parasite is sweeping across North America, shutting down supply chains and triggering thousands of severe infections. If this can happen in one of the most advanced food systems in the world, could it happen anywhere? It is a stark reminder that our food system remains vulnerable. Hello everyone, and welcome back to MediLink Talks. I'm Dr. Jean-Pierre Kabongo, family physician and founder of Homesteadication movement. Today, we face a critical question. How did a microscopic parasite slip past federal regulators to contaminate thousands of dinner plates? And how can we transition our mindset from seek care to self-care to protect our families when the global industrial food complex shows its limitations? Let's dive into the current 2026 Cyclospora outbreak in the United States of America. This crisis began quietly in mid-May 2026. Public health departments suddenly noticed a massive spike in severe watery diarrhea. By June, hundreds of people across the American Midwest were falling violently ill. Could warm weather and climate change contributed to this outbreak? Is it just a coincidence that this outbreak is happening in summer? This timing is crucial, as this is the period when families travel, spend time outdoors, and are likely to be eating out. To find out the origin of this outbreak, epidemiologists swiftly began tracing what these patients ate. The trail led directly to thousands of Taco Bell locations, a major American multinational chain of fast food restaurants that specializes in Mexican-inspired cuisine. The culprit? Shredded iceberg lettuce. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration traced this specific lettuce back to a major industrial supplier, Taylor Farms de Mexico, the Mexican subsidiary and processing branch of the world's largest North American processor of fresh-cut vegetables and salads. By July 17, 2026, a massive voluntary recall was issued and Taco Bell stripped the ingredient from its menus, but the damage was done. We are now looking at a historic disaster. Over 6,700 laboratory-confirmed cases and more than 11,500 suspected cases across 45 U.S. states. Even here in Canada, while the contaminated lettuce wasn't sold in our stores, we are seeing a massive surge in travel-related cases, given increased people mobility for summer holidays. Right here in British Columbia, Quebec, and Ontario, health units are reporting unprecedented spikes from cross-border travelers. How does this happen? The root cause is a microscopic parasite called Cyclospora cayetanensis. This organism enters our food supply through one specific path: human feces. Yes, you heard it right. Human feces are solid body waste, also called poop or stools. This is particularly important in part of the world where human sewage system is not well organized, or in places where the use of untreated human manure is still practiced, using raw and untreated human feces as agricultural fertilizer. However, in developed world like the North America, contamination follows different path. When agricultural fields or irrigation water systems in industrial farms leak or mix with human sewage, the parasite clings to the rough, porous surfaces of leafy greens. To make matters worse, regulatory bodies drop the ball. Just last year, severe U.S. federal budget cuts, such as the cut in food net budget, crippled the CDC's food surveillance programs, making tracking this parasite optional for states. Many experts think that these changes have played a role into this present 2026 Cyclospora outbreak, which is ranked to be the biggest as compared to the previous 7 ones that the U.S. suffered in the past. The CDC was forced to scale back FoodNet's mandate. Active disease tracking was stripped down from 8 pathogens that included Cyclospora to just 2 microorganisms, namely Salmonella and Shiga toxin-producing E. coli stec. Because active tracking for Cyclospora was made optional and defunded, public health departments lost their early warning infrastructure. The tracking of individual cases fell back onto slower, manual passive systems, which experts note directly contributed to the current Cyclospora outbreak exploding into a multi-state crisis before links could be identified. The system struggled, proving we cannot passively rely only on industrial supply chains for our safety. Here in Canada, cyclosporiasis, the disease caused by Cyclospora, remains a mandatory nationally notifiable disease, requiring physicians to report confirmed cases to their local public health authorities. This active legal reporting system ensures that data collection remains robust for protecting the domestic food supply chain. As a family physician of 20+ years experience, with a background in agronomy, veterinary science, tropical medicine, public health, and independent medical examination, I want to explain exactly what this parasite can do to your body and the community at large. Cyclospora is a single-celled protozoan, a microscopic living animal that can contaminate the food chain. It is highly resistant to chlorine and other common antimicrobial chemicals treatments routinely used in the industrial food and water processing sectors. If you stick until the end of this video, I am going to show you the only effective, evidence-based protocol that will get your salad and other fresh fruits rid of this dangerous bug. After you ingest it, it takes anywhere from 2 to 11 days for Cyclospora to mature inside your small intestine. Once it anchors into your gut lining, it causes severe disruptive inflammation. The hallmark symptom is explosive watery diarrhea. This isn't your average 24-hour stomach bug. It comes with severe bloating, intense abdominal cramps, nausea, rapid weight loss, and profound crushing fatigue, sometimes with fever. Crucially, these symptoms fluctuate. You might feel better for a couple of days, think you've recovered, and then the explosive symptoms roar back. If so far you find this video informative, please subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss similar video in the future. Now, here is a fascinating fact that surprises many people. Cyclospora is not contagious, and it has no animal reservoir. You cannot catch it directly from another person or an animal. Why? Because when the parasite leaves the human body, it is completely immature and harmless. It requires 1 to 2 weeks out in a warm environment, in warm soil or agricultural water, to mature and become infectious. Because it demands this environment to wake up, it cannot spread from person to person or from an animal to person in a household. This is where the global warming that we are currently experiencing plays its role. This bug can only spread globally when it contaminates wide-scale commercial farming systems, making it an environmental disease rather than a contagious one. It is unique among the most common foodborne diarrheal germ to require this mandatory 1 to 2 weeks environmental maturation before becoming infective. Diagnosing Cyclospora in the laboratory test has its own challenges. If you suspect you have this, you cannot rely on a standard stool test. Diagnosing Cyclospora presents a major clinical challenge because standard laboratory tests such as over and parasite wet mounts routinely miss it. Normal bacterial cultures will miss it entirely. You must specifically ask your doctor for a specialized molecular PCR stool test to detect Cyclospora DNA. Once diagnosed, treatment has its own challenges as well. Standard over-the-counter antidiarrheal medications will not cure it. It requires a specific prescription antibiotic regimen, trimethoprim-sulfamethoxazole, commonly known as Bactrim or Septra, which is the only effective and therefore FDA and Health Canada recommended treatment for this disease. For individuals with severe sulfur allergies, treatment becomes highly complex, as effective alternatives are limited. If left untreated, Cyclospora can ravage your health for months. The primary complication is severe dehydration, which frequently lands patients in the hospital needing IV fluids. Chronic inflammation leads to malabsorption, where your damaged gut can no longer absorb vital nutrients from your food, causing dangerous muscle wasting. In rare severe cases, it can even trigger post-infectious autoimmune complications like reactive arthritis, causing debilitating joint pain weeks and months after the parasite is gone. Other rare but severe immunological reactions, such as Guillain-Barré syndrome, can be fatal if left untreated. This severe neurological sequel, ranging from tingling and progressive muscle weakness to acute flaccid paralysis requiring mechanical ventilation, is much more likely to occur in patients whose infections are left untreated or partially treated due to delayed diagnosis or sulfur allergies. Practical advice. This brings us to the core of Homesteadication. When the public health net phrase, we must step up. Our slogan is clear, from seek care to self-care. Because Cyclospora oocysts are chemically shielded and exceptionally sticky, standard chemical soaking methods do not work. There is no chemical solution. Vinegar soak, baking soda mix, or commercial produce wash that will kill or reliably remove Cyclospora at home. To protect your family, you must shift your approach from chemical disinfection to physical removal and thermal inactivation using these evidence-based protocols. First, Physical discarding and mechanical rinsing. Washing alone cannot guarantee total removal, but you can drastically reduce the parasitic load through aggressive mechanical action. A. Discard outer layers. For leafy heads of lettuce, cabbage, or romaine, peel off and throw away the outer 2 to 3 layers of leaves entirely. The outermost leaves face the highest exposure to contaminated field water and soil. B. Copious running water. Do not soak vegetables in a filled sink or bowl, as this just recirculates the loose parasites in the water. Separate every single leaf or piece of produce and rinse it under vigorous clean running water so the parasites are physically forced down the drain. C. Friction scrubbing. For firm vegetables like cucumbers, carrots, or melons, scrub the rinds forcefully with a clean, dedicated produce brush under running water before cutting into them. D. Colander batches. Divide bagged greens or berries into small batches inside a colander. Shake and spray them continuously to maximize water flow through. Second, thermal inactivation. Heat food to an internal temperature of at least 158 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Celsius. According to the CDC and FDA, cooking is the only definitive method to kill the Cyclospora parasite on contaminated food. It is time to swap raw summer salads for cooked alternatives like sautéed greens, roasted vegetables, grilled romaine, or vegetable-based soups. Third, sourcing control. The homesteadication approach. When a widespread foodborne outbreak hits the industrial supply chain, the ultimate self-care step is adjusting your sourcing. A. Choose peelable produce only. For example, avocados, bananas, mangoes. B. Revert to frozen or canned foods. C. Grow your own salad greens in backyard garden beds, vertical hydroponic towers, or simple windowsill planters. By controlling your own soil and water, you eliminate the risk of industrial sewage contamination entirely. If you are traveling to the US or tropical destinations right now, avoid raw leafy greens, unpeeled fruits, and unpasteurized juices entirely. This is the best occasion to remind you of the golden rule of travel medicine. Boil it, cook it, peel it. Otherwise, forget it. By practicing rigorous food self-care, you prevent the infection before it ever requires a hospital visit. The bigger picture here is a profound One Health realization. Human health, veterinary medicine, and agricultural practices are permanently intertwined. When industrial agriculture treats food production like a factory line, prioritizing massive volume and cutting corners on environmental safety and sewage management, human disease is the inevitable result. A breakdown in a field thousands of miles away directly compromises your cellular health and gut microbiome today. True preventative medicine does not start at my clinic desk with a prescription pad. It starts in the soil. It starts with clean water, ethical farming, and conscious sourcing. The 2026 Cyclospora outbreak is a loud wake-up call. We must reclaim control over what crosses our lips. When you embrace the homesteadication mindset, even in a small urban kitchen, you are not just growing food. You are actively practicing the highest form of preventative medicine. Remember our foundational philosophy. Make your food your first medicine, your kitchen the first pharmacy, and your home the first clinic. Conclusion. Our industrial food safety nets are vulnerable, but your home defense doesn't have to be. Take control of your kitchen pharmacy, practice rigorous food hygiene, and start exploring local self-reliant food sources today. If you found this clinical breakdown and homesteadication perspective valuable, please hit the like button, subscribe to MediLink Talks, and share this video with anyone traveling or looking to protect their family. Leave us a comment below. Are you taking steps to grow your own food this year? Until next time, stay safe, stay self-reliant, and remember, your health starts at home.